folks, and welcome back to Four Corners of the Galley. I'm your host PBO, and you're joining me on another edition of Atlanta Robbin season. We're up to episode 7, Champagne Papi. Before we start, I just want to thank everyone for all the love and support and likes and comments from last week's episode 6. Teddy Perkins, thank you so much, means the world to me. Please, if you like, subscribe, comment, share. All right, let's kick this sucker off, guys. All right, so we start this episode off, and it's the Van episode, and we're on Van and her adventure, and Van is going out with her girls. So we got Tammy, Candy, Nadine, and Van all going on a girls' night out. We find out it's New Year's Eve, and they're going to Drake's house. I guess Drake's house, Drake's mansion in Atlanta, one of his houses. He's throwing a New Year's Eve party, and they're all getting together. So the show starts off. And we got Candy, and she's on social media. She's on Instant Live, and she's over there marketing and trying to sell some lip gloss, talking about use my code. She's selling her stuff off, goes to try to get Van on camera. Van's just not dealing with her. And then when she comes back, she's like, and someone needs to give me your Netflix password because you know a girl needs it. I won't be begging. So it just shows this whole kind of what this episode is about, and this kind of what Darius speaks about and the motivation behind this whole thing. So it's set up as a fun girls' night out and New Year's Eve and a great party, and it turns into something a little different by the end of it, and we'll get to that when it gets there. So they get to that part, so they're having a good old time. It's the girls getting ready, and I don't know if you've ever been around girls getting ready. That's pretty classic what they're doing right there. Makeup, one's doing makeup, one's doing this, one's doing that. So they're sitting there talking about stuff. They're talking about birth controls. They're talking about IEDs. And Nadine's like, y'all don't use condoms? And Van comes back with the, girl, were you in high school? And then obviously Nadine comes on top of her, well, I ain't got no HPV or a kid. And they all get quiet. So classic girls just coming back and forth on each other, having fun, talking about all the random different stuff, and they're talking about how IEDs affect their periods, the whole, just the whole deal. Girls having a good old time, just talking about all the different stuff. They start talking about that. Candy talks about how her man that she's seeing, or this dude she's seeing, DJ, set it up, and he's a tour barber. And I don't know about you, man, but that seems like the greatest life in the world, a tour barber. You become somebody's personal barber, and you get to travel all around the world on tour and just basically cut people's hair and get thousands of dollars. Shoot, sign me up when you need that. That's crazy. So he's that, and he's doing that. And Katie's talking about how she met him, and they're like, well, what'd you do for her? She's like, this is business. She's trying to act like it's business. And they're like, all right, so what, did you send him any pictures? She's like, I sent him 2 selfies. And they're like, all right, you mean 2 pictures of your breast? She's like, nah, you just go on Tumblr if you want to see those. So we already getting the 4-on-1 on Candy over here, and she obviously loose and trying to become a superstar any way she can, and that's basically her goal. And she's social media selling stuff, trying to hook up with the tour DJ. She's talking about how she would do anything for Aubrey, and she's hoping she can meet Aubrey at this party. So they just having great conversation. They get together, and of course, like all famous nights out for anybody, man or female, you always have that let's do shots, and they do that, oh, girls night shots, and they do the whole thing. And that basically is the highest point of the night, because you already know everything after that is going to have either issues or consequences, and this is no different from the rest. So they do that, boom, they're going to do that. Before all that happens, though, you do get a little clip of Van kind of in the corner, and she's, they're doing the conversation, and she's watching a clip of Ern. She's watching a video of Ern, and Ern's having a good time. Some random girl's playing with his hair, and you can see she's really getting to him, because he got a big old smile on his face. And she's like, I need to do something for the gram. I need to get this pic with Aubrey. She's like, mine is weak. She's like, I got Lottie, chicken, Lottie, Earn. They're like, oh, you need to delete that Earn. So she's also in it to win it. Her whole goal for the night is to get a picture with Drake, because that's what this goal is. They want to get a picture of Drake so they can be stunned on the gram and showing off on New Year's Eve. Look where they at. Look what they doing. So they get together. They get together, and the next time we see them is they get to this big old empty parking lot, and they're in the middle of nowhere, and they just kind of park, and they're like kind of huddled around. They're all cold because they're wearing skimpy dresses, and one girl, Candy's trying to follow her navigation, like, let's go this way. She's getting them lost. They start walking, and then out of nowhere, some pizza dude just pops up out of nowhere. He's like, hey, you guys going to that Drake party? And this dude's just trying to figure out any conniving way to get to Drake's house. Either he's trying to drop some music, I don't know, he seems like some crazy stalker. They're trying to ignore him. He's like, look, I need to get this pizza to Drake. Personally got delivered to him, so why don't you just give me his address? They're like, She's like, come on, I'll give you a little of his pizza. So they blow him off. They find the little shuttle that's waiting for him. They get there, and the door's locked. They're like, what the heck? She's like, oh, we're here for Drake. And he's like, he just looks at her, she goes, oh. And then he has to give some code, and then all of a sudden the door just magically opens off of this code. So they get in the van, and in the van is just filled with, obviously, lovely, beautiful young ladies, all thinking the same thing, going to this Drake party. They get in, they start looking around, seeing everything. There's a girl sitting next to the van, and she's just crying her eyes out. You're like, what the heck? She's like, I'm just so happy. She's so happy she's going to this Drake party. At the same time, Van is scrolling through, and she's seeing some pics from the party and seeing that people are there, and she's seeing these pictures of Drake and these girls and all the different stuff. So she knows, in her mind, she's getting hyped up because she's trying to figure out how to get that same, she wants that same gratification that these girls are getting. So they get on this thing. The driver gets a little smart comment talking about, ooh, you girls are pretty. I'm going to take you to my house and close the partition and mess with them. They drive up. Next shot you get is this big old mansion, and they just pull up. And this is where I love it. Everything just gets crazy from this point forward. So they pull up. All the girls unload, and there's a big old security guard standing there. So the big old security guard, he's like, all right, if you're here for the Ethiopian photo shoot, have your IDs out and ready. What the heck? For everybody else, you're going to have to wear some of these booties. And they got hospital booties that they got. Everybody's going to wear on their shoes. He's like, these are marble floors. Nobody's scratching them up. So the best part is everybody in this doggone party's got these booties on. So the first girl walks up. She's like, I was invited by Drake. And you can hear the girls in the back snickering and stuff. And she's like, I have a personal message from him. She's got like some handwritten note with, like, I guess Drake's signature on it. She's like, he signed it. You can see. The dude just kind of does that quick look over, and the next shot you get is her being dragged away. She's like, no. She's like singing a song. She's singing one of the songs and getting pulled away. And all the girls are just like, oh well. They don't care. They know they go to this party. So they walk in this party. Big old huge mansion, looking gorgeous. All kinds of people walking around. They're like scoping out the scene. The first thing Van spots out, I guess, an actor. It looks like a made-up actor. And he points it out. And then the friend Tammy, and then this is when she kind of gets in her groove. She sees that this actor's with a white guy and he's a black dude. She goes, them Hollywood fools, they don't know nothing. So they're kind of scoping the scene. I don't know if you guys noticed, but in that scoping of the scene, there's an ATM machine in the corner. And I've always heard about rappers and big old celebrities that have ATM machines in the house, getting that money anywhere they can. I thought that was hilarious. I saw that ATM machine. And so DJ pulls up on them, and Candy sees DJ, and she gets all excited. And they're supposed to be a girls' night out, and they're supposed to be hanging out and having a good old time, and, trying to find Drake and get to some VIP party. They start asking where Drake at. He's like, are you around? Well, don't worry. So he offers them up some edible gummies. They're like, yes, all right. So they each get one. Nadine is reluctant to obviously eat it, and Tammy forces it down her throat, makes her eat it. And then right then and there, boom, girls' night out. Candy's talking about girls' night out. This is supposed to be the thing. She ditches him. The minute that DJ shows up, she ditches him. She goes with her man. She just bounces out. So now it's the three girls. They got their little edible, and they ready to party. At this point, everything goes sideways. So they come back, they in some room. You got some girl riding a mechanical bull, looking all sensual. Half-naked ladies all over the place. They looking around like, what the heck? Where are we? Tammy instantly says, she goes, I cannot be here with all these instant thoughts and not letting this sucker kick in. She's like, there is too many of them everywhere. Basically, it was a giant old smorgasbord. It looked like it was 30-1 females. Like any dude would kill to get to this party, and it's all set up because all these females are trying to get to Drake. So I get that. So at this point, Tammy looks over at Nadine, and she's lit. I mean, she is gone. She's high as a kite, and you can see it in her face. She's gone. She lit. So Tammy tells her, oh, Nadine, you stay with Van. Oh, okay. And then Tammy bounces out. She goes on her own little stalking mission. Van's all in talking about stuff. She looks over and sees Nadine is pretty messed up. So she's like, oh, you don't move nowhere. At the same time, she turns back. Nadine's on the phone calling 911. Hello? I'm dying. I'm out of I mean, that is one of the best scenes ever. Van runs over, grabs the phone. She didn't tell you the address, right? Okay, bye. Click. She's like, I'm dying. No, you're not, dude. Come on and lay down. So she's trying to be the good friend. Obviously, Nadine is the good girl, doesn't do anything wrong, and she's out with a girl trying to have a fun time. They give her this little edible, and bam, she's already kicked it. So you got all these different personalities and all this craziness happening at the same time. So Van goes and sits her down, tries to comfort her, shows her there's a picture of Drake, and is like, stay with Drake. I'm going to be back. I'm going to get you some water. So she's sitting there, and she's lit. Van goes over, and now she runs into this guy. And everything seems fine. She meets this guy, Brand, and he's being very nice, kind of gives her a bottle of water. You think nothing of it. Very casual. Okay, she ran into somebody, met someone. They go back trying to check on Nadine. Nadine gone. So now everyone's split up and everybody's on their own. So Van's there and she's still trying to charge her phone and use the bathroom. So Brandon takes her downstairs, says he found the spot. He takes her downstairs to this like crazy downstairs area. It's got all these different rooms, and he goes in kind of like a studio area, and he hooks her up with a power charge, and she starts charging her phone. And then this is when this dude goes from just being nice to just straight up creepy. So she's like, oh, okay, and they start talking, and she's like, how long you been here? He's like, oh, I've been here since 8, I just got here real early, just kind of walked around. She's like, you and who? She's like, oh, no, by myself. And you can see in her face, she's like, all right, that's a check off. And he's like, well, what do you do? She's, normal thing, a friend of a friend, cousins is nutrition, so he's there. But everything just starts getting creepy and creepy. This dude starts asking way too many questions. He's being all weird, telling her, you're my friend. She can just see it in his face. So she's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom over here and check on the phone. All right. He walks to the bathroom, starts acting crazy creepy, trying to hold her hand, barely met this girl doing all stuff. She gets in the bathroom, and this fool won't shut up. I mean, he just won't shut up. He's talking, being weird as hell. And this is that point. Van's like, nope, no more of this dude. So she figures out a way to get him away. She's like, oh, go get some weed and some water. Just go. So the minute he books, she's gone. She breaks out and finds a whole nother room, and then she starts on her whole adventure. So at this point, I'm going to go one by one through these girls because they're each separated, and then we'll do it when they all get back together. So we're going to start with Van. So Van breaks out and ends up in this. She finds the magic room. She ends up, it looks like Drake's master bathroom and his ginormous walk-in closet. And she's all in there. It's gorgeous. Looks gold-plated, everything. Everything looks very Drake-ish or whatever and of that nature. I've seen some of those pictures on the ground where he's showing that other guy in Toronto, so I could see this being definitely that way. And she's like, she's in heaven. She sees this beautiful bathroom, ends up in his closet, takes a jacket and some pants, and this is the best. Then she starts singing Hotline Bling to herself and dancing with the Drake jacket, doing the whole Drake moves and everything, taking lotions and creams and smelling all the different sprays, just having a good old time feeling herself. At this point, you think this is pretty good. Van's having a good old time. She's now got Drake's clothes on. She's real hyped. She can't wait to meet the dude because she's smelling all the stuff, and she's in great spirits. At the same time she's down there, she gets a text message from Candy, and Candy's like, "Oh, I'm out. Me and DJ left. We're going to T-Pain's party." And so now she's got no way back after they get dropped off because her girl just bounced on her with her boy. So the girl that's talking about girls' night out took off with the dude and is gone. So she's got that thing. So we're gonna cut over back to Nadine because they cut back to Van obviously later. So then we get to Nadine. Of all the people, Nadine runs into Darius, and this is a great moment. And so she's obviously lit, and what perfect person to put her with than to put her with Darius. And then he starts going into this whole Matrix simulator. We're not really here, and at first when you watch, you don't think he's doing anything, but actually it's really deep what he's going into. Basically, this whole episode and everything is a facade, and that the life that we live on social media is the simulator, and the things that people will look back at and realize that it was all fake, and the real life that we're living now is actual reality. It's just, it's some trippy stuff, and obviously that's what they're having this dope conversation. But they're having this fun Matrix-style conversation where they're not really living their lives, and they're in a simulator, and it's kind of references back to social media. It's got a little Black Mirror. It's really smart and dope thinking what he's doing. But also it's got this great humor because they're sitting there and she's fully on board. And she's like, is that lady real? He goes, well, real fake. And he's kind of calling her like Hollywood. And he's got this girl in a bikini just dancing in this hot tub for no doggone reason behind him. Some real Hollywood stuff right there. He's just like, okay. So they cut from there. And this is when we get to the just straight up hilarious one. I don't know what they're going to do with these lovely three ladies in Van, but they need their own little spinoff show. The four of them running Atlanta would just be perfect to watch because then you get Tammy. Tammy's on a whole nother level. So Tammy is now stalking this actor with his white girlfriend, and she's going for the kill. Obviously, the gummies kicked in, and she's in the mood. She's got the champagne, and she's been stalking him around. The minute the dude leaves, she just goes in on that girl, telling her, I don't know why you been with this, such a typical thing. Obviously, the white woman still in the powerful black man, very, very sensitive issue. She starts going in, and the girl is trying to be very respectful and telling him, well, I was there from the beginning, and 8 years, community theater, I cooked for him, I was there the whole time, I was there from the start. So basically, she didn't come for the money, she was been around since the start, and Tammy can't accept that answer. And she completely flips it. Bitch, nobody cares about that. We ain't got no shooting stars, waiting 8 years, community. Nobody's got no time for that. That's one of the best freaking scenes ever. Tammy just straight goes in. And then the girl's just like, okay. She basically knows at this point there is no winning in this conversation, and she just shuts her mouth. At the same time, the boyfriend shows up. The girlfriend's like, oh, okay, and bounces, and the dude just looks over at him and just goes, sorry. Nothing else. That is one of the best scenes, best setups. Oh, man, that was great. What a great scene. Tammy killed it. I mean, and then to see her face afterwards, you can see she got it when she was feeling herself a little giggle into the champagne. That was classic. That was classic. So they're all on their little adventure. So now Van is strolling around the house. She just roaming around the house trying to find stuff, and she ends up in some weird room. And I know the guy says grandfather. I don't know if he's Drake's grandfather or if he was a grandfather or someone else. I don't know what he was, but she's trying to talk to him. He's talking Spanish. He's pissed off, and he does say at one point to her, Drake not in town, TV not working. She doesn't listen to anything he's saying, so she's like, I don't understand. It's no Spanish. And he's like, look over there. She's, oh, you want me to look over here? And this is when it all hits her. She sees that on the calendar, it says Euro Tour, and he's not even at this party. Just showing you how the facade and the simulator and the life we're living in is not even real. They think they're all hyped up for this big old Drake night, thinking they're going to go to see Drake and might actually meet him, and he's not even here. And then, this is where you're wondering, well, where did all those pictures come from? And of course they give you your answer. So she goes back upstairs, sees this long line of girls, and what do you got? 2 hustlers in the other room. 2 classic hustlers in the other room selling pics of Drake, Champagne Papi, in different cutouts, and that's what girls have been posting all the time. Like, she's like, 1 for 20 or for 30, you can even get these Puma slides. I mean, it is a great moment showing you, they peel back the curtain, showing you the fakeness of what really is reality, and that what you see online is not true. I mean, just a great back and forth. She bounces on them. She don't want to deal with that nonsense. She's like, they get all mad. She ends up outside seeing Darius and Nadine hanging out, and she's like, is Ern with you? He's like, no, you can see she's still in her feelings about Ernst, all that goodness, and maybe, who knows what's going on at this point. They kind of have a conversation talking about life, and if you're not there, and out of nowhere, Tammy shows up. Tammy's like, they're kicking us all out, She's like, we gotta go. And they're like, okay. Well, how we go? Well, Candy already left. And she's like, what are you wearing? And she doesn't answer. And then the worst part is, of course, the last shot is all 4 of them walking home because they ain't got no ride. And they started this great night out where it was going to be girls' night. And they're supposed to have all this fun. And the one that drove left them all. And they're stuck there storming back having to walk back in the middle of Atlanta. I don't even know how long that walk is. And that was just, just a shame walk on another level. Whew. So there you go. That is a great, great episode. What a deep dive into basically social media and just the whole New Year's Eve party and fake Hollywood. I mean, it's just a great in-depth stuff. If you really listen and see what they're talking about, it's some really, really good insight that Darius is dropping along with the subtle hits of the social media. Just fabulous. Absolutely great episode. Can't wait to see what they do next. Definitely seems like something in Van's nightmare where everything she thought was going to go great turns horrible. So, all right. Well, thank you guys. Hope you guys have been enjoying this. If you're checking out Unsolved, I got last week's episode right here, Half the Job. Also, I don't know if you missed Teddy Perkins. Teddy Perkins right here. There it is, guys. Thanks. Till next time. Good night, Ted.